Hey everyone, this is Anam. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be explaining the ball poem from the book First Flight of class 10. I'll also be discussing all the poetic devices. The ball poem is written by John Berryman, who was an American poet. The poem is about a boy who has just lost his ball. It describes the harsh reality of life which everyone has to face one day. Loss is an inevitable part of life. Although the poet is talking about a ball, a toy, but he has used it as a symbol of material possessions. People, they often get attached to material things, and when they lose them, they do not know how to deal with the loss. They can't accept the fact that now they don't possess the thing any longer, and then they get depressed. So this is what the poem is about. Let's start. What is the boy now who has lost his ball? What is he to do? The poet says that this young boy has lost his ball, which was very dear to him, and he is so sad and gloomy about the loss. He's so depressed. What will he do now? What is he going to do now after losing his ball? The boy is very young. He has never faced such a situation before. He has never lost anything which was dear to him. So this is the first time he has lost something which he liked, which was dear to him, and now he's not able to cope up with the loss. He doesn't know how to deal with it. I saw it go merrily bouncing down the street. Who is I here? I is the poet. The poet says that yes, I saw the ball going happily down the street. Obviously, a ball is a non-living thing. It cannot be happy. But this expression merrily bouncing is used by the poet just to show that it is just humans who get attached to material things. Things do not attach themselves to us, right? So the poet says that the ball, it went down the street bouncing and then merrily over. There it is in the water. The setting of the poem is in a beach town, in a harbor. So the poet says, yes, the ball, it went away bouncing down the street and then it has gone into the water. No use to say, oh, there are other balls. The poet says, at this point, it's useless to go and give any kind of consolation to the boy, to tell him that, it was just a ball. There are millions of balls in this world. You can purchase a new one. You can get the other one, because the boy is sad. He will not understand these things right now. Why? Because an ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy. The boy is grief-stricken. He's not able to, give any logical reasoning to this incident. He's just sad and depressed. So this happens in real life also. Some people, when they lose something, they face a lot of difficulty in accepting the fact that they do not possess it any longer and they have to live without it, right? They get so attached to those material things that they are grief stricken when they lose them, and they do not want to listen to any lectures, any suggestions. They are just indulged in their own grief at that time. As he stands rigid, trembling, staring down all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. So the grief-stricken boy, he's just standing there rigid, means without moving. He's shivering. He's just staring down all his young days. Although he's looking at the ball, which is now in the water, but in fact, he's just standing there and he's looking down. He's staring down all his young days, means he's remembering all those days when he had his ball with him and he used to play with it happily. I would not intrude on him. The poet says that no, I will not interfere. I will not go to the boy and intrude on him. A dime, another ball is worthless. Now his senses first responsibility in a world of possessions. The poet says it's useless, it's worthless to go and tell him that okay, it's just a cheap ball, you can get another one, because the boy is not going to understand, right? When will he understand? How will he realize? When he will make this realization himself. So the poet says now he senses first responsibility in a world of possessions. The poet says this is a world of possessions. People have this tendency to acquire things, to possess them, to own them. So now he has entered in the real world where everyone has to lose one thing or the other, right? So he has to realize this fact that everyone loses something. So he should be strong enough to come out of it, right? He should not attach himself to a thing to such an extent that when he loses that thing, he's just lost. He's just depressed about it as if it's the end of the world. So it should not happen. He should realize this fact. People will take balls and balls will be lost always, little boy. And no one buys a ball back. Money is external. So the poet wants the boy to learn this lesson. Now, he's not going to the boy and teaching him this lesson. He wants him to learn all by himself. He wants the boy to, realize it that yes, in this world, balls will be lost. Like I said, ball is not just a ball, it's a symbol of each and every material possession. So the poet says that yes, these kind of things will keep on happening in future also. He will acquire things, he will possess them, but one day he might lose those things. Money is external, so we should not let money have control over ourselves. Money is just external, it doesn't define us. Money is for our use. We should not get used by money. We should not be consumed by money. He is learning well behind his desperate eyes. The epistemology of loss. Epistemology means knowledge. So the poet says, yes, he's learning. He's learning the harsh, the bitter truth of life. That we don't have any control over everything. Anytime we can lose anything. So he is learning the knowledge of loss. How to stand up means how to come back after losing something. Knowing what every man must know one day, know, and most know many days how to stand up. So the poet says that sooner or later every man has to understand this harsh truth of life. Every man has to accept this fact. Some people understand sooner and some take a long time to understand this, but we have no choice but to accept the reality. So basically the poet wants to say that we should not attach ourselves to material possessions. Money is external. We should not let these things take control over us. Like I said, things should be consumed by us. We should not be consumed by things. So this is what the poem is all about. Let's discuss the poetic devices now. First is enjambment. Very simple. When there is no punctuation mark at the end of a line, it is called enjambment. As you can see the underlined sentences, there is no punctuation mark at the end, no comma, no full stop, nothing, no exclamation. So these are examples of enjambment. Similarly, you can see more lines. No punctuation mark has been used here. So this poetic device is called enjambment. Next is alliteration. Some examples of alliteration are written on the right hand side of your screen. Boy now who has lost his ball. Boy, ball. B sound is repeated here. What is alliteration? Alliteration means repetition of consonant sound in close connection. B sound, boy, ball is a consonant sound. It is alliteration. Second example, balls, balls will be lost always, little boy. Balls, balls, B. B sound is repeated. It is also alliteration. Third example, and no one buys a ball back. Buys, ball, back. B sound is repeated. This is also alliteration. Next is repetition. Very simple. When a word or a phrase or a sentence is repeated, it is called repetition. See the first sentence. What is he to do? Here, what has been repeated twice. Second example, balls will be lost always, little boy. Here, balls has been repeated twice. The epistemology of loss, how to stand up, knowing what every man must one day know, and most know many days how to stand up. So in these lines, the word know has been repeated twice, and how to stand up, it also has been used twice. So these are also examples of repetition. Next is anaphora. What is anaphora? When in a poem, two or more than two lines start with the same word, it is called anaphora. So first and second line, both these lines start with the same word, what. What is the boy now? What is he to do? So as both these lines are beginning with the same word, what, it is called anaphora. Similarly, third and fourth line, they also begin with the same word, merrily. Merrily bouncing down the street, merrily over, there is, it is in the water. So this is also an example of anaphora, because merrily has been used as the first word of both these lines. Next is personification. In the same phrase, merrily bouncing down the street. Merrily means happily. The poet is talking about the ball. The poet is saying the ball is bouncing happily. A ball is a non-living thing. It cannot be happy, right? So the ball has been personified. The poet is presenting the ball as if it has emotions, it is happy. So we call it personification. Next is transferred epithet. Transferred epithet means when an adjective is used with some other noun but not with the one which it is qualifying, right? So it is called transferred epithet. Shaking grief fixes the boy. Grief, pain, misery. Now, grief is not shaking it in itself, no, right? It's just an emotion. We cannot see it that it's shaking. Who is shaking with grief? The boy is shaking with grief. But instead of saying the shaking boy or the boy is shaking with grief, the poet is saying shaking grief, right? There is a transfer. The word shaking, which should have been used with the boy, the poet is using it with grief. So it is called transferred epithet. Next is rhyme scheme. There is no rhyme scheme in this poem, so it is a free verse. That's all about it. I hope you must have understood the poem and the literary devices. If you liked my video, then please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.